Yeah.
We're back at Peak Speed Lab 164, where, as always, gravity and mass meet friction, and the ramp decides who wins, or at least the results. Well, in both cases. Okay. There I go with the okay again. I am going to put that on a shirt maybe down the road. So what we have here, getting ready to show, will be a batch of 5 real riders. These are going to be the Hot Wheels Premium, the Japan Historics 5 that I picked up at a local store here. And since they had all 5, I'm like, oh, let me grab them. So after I did the test yesterday with the previous video, which was a real rider, and it was the first real rider car, notice it's a little bit heavier, a little bit slower. Obviously, nicer materials on it, metal base, rubber tires. I decided, well, let's see how some other real riders will do. And when I went digging through my piles here in the bags that I've also shown in previous videos, I remembered that I had picked up these 5. So I think we may do a batch of these 5 for this next video because, we got to start adding some cars. Got a lot of cars and other vehicles to get through. So here I'm going to show first is as you can see, Nissan Skyline 2000 GT-R LBWK. Let's see if we got anything interesting on the back of it. This is going to be the set, which you will see. I'm going to show all of those. And we will see how they run just in general. Like on the track, we're going to do, as usual, the short form drag strip for time. But we will see how they compare with each other. Okay, so we've got 63.34. Now, we'll enter the other information first. So this is the Hot Wheels. We've got the make. We're going to plug in the different bits of information into... I'm going to see if I can bring this over so you can see the computer situation. There's the example. You can see the little bit of the previous car and the current car that we're working on right now. Some of the tools from the lab. We are going to continue with the the measurements. All right, so this is the Nissan, is the make. The model is the Skyline. We got a lot to, the Skyline. I'm typing this in over here as I just showed. 2000, the 2000 GT-R LBWK. Okay, so the release is the, this is the premium, Hot Wheels Premium Real Riders, and this is the Japan Historics 5. So we're going to get all that information in. Premium Real Riders, Japan Historics 5. Now, there may be another code on here. Some of these I've been popping in. This is U38A, or is it JKF11? So it depends, right? So underneath, we've got, we'll take some of that information as well. Trying to focus that in. So let's see. We're going to weigh this again. 63.37. .37. So that puts it in the same weight class. Oh, wow. That's in the top end. That's in the heaviest weight class. Okay, so this one is even heavier than the McLaren F1 was. So this is going to be the heaviest weight class. This is also closed wheel. We've got the condition, factory fresh, because I pulled this right out of the pack. We're going to find out about where this one is made. And boy, is this sometimes this is actually tough to see. This is another one made in Thailand. Yep. Okay, Thailand. We'll close this one up. Okay. Thailand. This is stock because, once again, I'm not going to be modifying these cars, at least not right now. So now we have the wheelbase. So this is how we're going to deal with the wheelbase. We're going to use that tool, which is the calipers from Mito Toyo. And we're going to, the nice thing about this is when we turn it on with that bond button, I have it set to inches right now, as you can see. And I can set it for, if I want to do the metrics like millimeters and centimeters. But right now we are doing, we're going to go with inches because in the computer that I'm entering this information in, all this information is going to be automatically converted. So let's see what the wheelbase is on this bad boy. So I'm going to try to do this as easy as I can on here. We've got a wheelbase of about 1.7395. 1.7395. 7.395. That's inches. And then for millimeters, it's about 44.18. Now, hub to hub. This is where we're going to use this part here. And we're going to measure. It's a little unwieldy to try to do with the camera and the table, but I'm going to do this off. So hub to hub, we're measuring from the inside of the hub to the inside of the hub. And that measurement to is 0.7275 inches. That gives that 18.48 millimeters. That was the front. Now we're going to do the rear. The rear is identical. So 0.7275 inches. Now we've got front tire width. So here we're going to do front tire width. .18. Inches, which is about 4.57 millimeters. Rear tire should be the same because these look to be about the same. Wow, okay. 0.186. 0.186, which is 4.72. Now we're going to go for the diameter of these tires, which I'm going to do off screen, but initially. So we're doing the off screen. I just did this. It's about 0.352 inches, which is 8.94 millimeters. And then the rear tire, I guess is slightly different. So that's why 0.3560. 0.3560. 9.04. Now for the body width. So we're going to look for the widest point of the body, which by sight looks like the back so 1.205. 1.205 inches, which is, whoops, body width, put that in the wrong spot. 1.205 inches, which is 30.61, and then we have body length. And again, we talk about, we include spoilers, we include anything that is part of the car. Okay, so that is 2.935. So 2.935. Okay, ground clearance can be a bit tricky, so I'm going to use this pad. We're going to have to do this out of frame, but we're going to check the ground clearance. At the lowest point, which looks like it could be here at the rear. see if I can. So see this right here? We're gonna. All right. 0.1275. 0.1275, which is 3.24 millimeters. Front axle play. So now what we're going to look at is, does this have any, oh, yeah, see there's a little bit of play in here. Okay, so we're going to measure that. And the way we measure it is we are here we go, about 0.066. 0.066. And that we're going to consider that moderate because, of course, that is, there's some play. It's not tight. I haven't found a tight one yet where there's absolutely no play. Rear axle play. Okay, we've got, okay. As you can see, there's a little bit of play. Most of these cars are probably going to have that. That looks to be the same, 0.6 or 0.066. So moderate. And then here's going to be the interesting piece. The front tipping angle. I mean, not front tipping angle. The tipping angle. So we're going to, I'm going to have to do this off frame. Well, man, here, we can try this. We'll see if we can get this shot for you guys. Here we're back. We are about to do the tipping angle. Making sure my gauge is good. The Wixie gauge. So we have this gauge that we're going to read. Now the problem is, unfortunately, you probably won't be able to see this too well, and this I can't get this gauge to lock. There might be a way to do it, but here we go. Tipping angle. We're at 5.8 or 58, 60, about 62, 63, about 63.0. We're going to do that again because this is, it doesn't lock. So let's see what we got here again. See if you can see how that's changing. Whoa. That's not tipping, that is just sliding off. Well, that's because I have to get this rubber band right. This is the most challenging one, right? Because trying to keep this from, there we go. So what we're looking for is when the wheels essentially leave the lift off from the top part. Okay. It's 40. 50. 59, 60, yeah, 61.8. So we're gonna go with 61.8. So we've got, that's the, what we're talking about is center of gravity. So that is going to be considered low. It still has a low center of gravity because anything over, yeah, this is This is still pretty good. Most of these are probably going to so far have low centers of gravity. We've got the base material is that we're going to enter. So this base material is metal. The tires are rubber. So we'll get that entered. And we'll move on to the run. Okay, so that's the car. That's the whole process for measuring all aspects of the car itself. We've got about, no, not about. We've got everything measured for the vehicle itself. So we're going to do some test runs. We're going to do, or not test runs, we're going to do the warm-up runs first, the 20 laps, and then we'll figure out, sort of see the variance in that, and then we're going to do the 10 official runs and take the average of that. So we will be back in a sec for you all. Thank you. Okay, we're about to run number 4, the number 4 car, this Nissan. And we're going to do some warm-up laps. I thought it'd be fun to see if we can get some action shots from back here. Yes, this is going to be the start of the warm-up runs. So we're going to see how this looks from this angle. .83, so starting a little bit slower than the McLaren did. All right, we're gonna do 19 more for the warm-ups, and then we'll do the official runs. So we just finished the 20 warm-ups, and as you can see, the fastest time, which was the first run, was 1.83. The slowest was 1.97. A lot of variance. And then the track temp right now, 68.5. The room humidity, 26%. I'm reading from bottom to top. And then the room temp is 68.4. Right, these are in Fahrenheit, but they'll convert to I'll include Celsius in the database. So here we go. We've got the official lap 1 for car number 4, this Nissan. We will see how she does. .92 seconds, and again, she's in the highest weight class. So maybe the short form. What will be interesting is the short form drag strip may not be as great for the speed, but maybe when we get to the 164 scale drag strip, quarter-mile drag strip, we'll see how they carry their speed, their energy down the road. And then in other challenges, maybe they'll do it, maybe they won't. But that's part of the process we want to find out. Because again, science and physics, fun stuff. All right, we're going to do the next 9 rounds for this one. Okay, we're on run number 10, and I've been trying to do a couple of different angles and such, just to make it a little more interesting. But we're seeing after 20 warm-up runs, the variance seems a bit less for the 10, as we've noticed on all cars, but this one still has I don't know. Probably about the same, maybe a little bit more. I'll have to look, take a closer look to be sure. But here goes 10 run. I'm run 10. All right. We're going to check the average out here, get the rest of this info loaded, and we'll be back to it. And we're back. Thanks for sticking with. Let me start over. Thanks for sticking with me. I'm Strick again. This is Peak Speed Lab 164, where gravity and mass meet friction. The ramp decides the results and eventually who wins. So we just finished up the 10 the 20 warm-up laps and then the 10 official laps with the averages. And it was pretty interesting. Now if you watch this video all from the beginning, you'll see that this is the highest weighted car so far that we've measured. This is just car number 4. Got a lot more to go before we can really start gleaning any real info, but this is the first one in the highest weight class, and also again the 4th car in the cars that we've tested. And the results here, well, here's what I found interesting as I'm looking at my pad. The warm-up laps, again, we do 20. The variance was pretty wide. The very first run, as you'll see, if you saw in the video, was 1.83 seconds. But after that, everything was in the 1.9 with the slowest lap time of 1.97. So again, those those laps we're not tracking. That's just more of a warm-up. But for the 10 official lap runs, we had, excuse me, a pretty good range of 1.90 is the fastest lap, and it looks like the slowest lap was about 1.95. So the variance was a little bit smaller, but it still ran pretty. Some of these other racers or the other cars have been, you know, two two lap speed results between the 10 or maybe 3. This one was different throughout almost each lap. I don't think any lap, I'm looking here now, no laps ran the same lap time, which is the first time that happened. Even the previous Real Riders vehicle had multiple laps that ran together, and its range was 1.74 to 1.76. So like was that 2/100ths of a second difference, whereas this one was pretty wide in its scale when you're looking at the results. So we're gonna continue to work through. I've got 4 more of these. These are the again Japan Historics pack. These are the 5 packs. So we've got 4 more to go. I was gonna run them all in the same batch, measure and run, but I thought, wow, that's really going to become a pretty long video, and I don't really want to take away from the results of each vehicle. So I'm gonna do these one at a time, and I'm gonna do them one at a time, and then we'll down the road I will likely want to do a fun event where I'm racing all 5 of these if they fall into the same weight class. If they don't, I don't know that it would really be fair if they didn't, and to try to race them, because weight does have an impact, as I think we're seeing. Even though as the McLaren was in a little bit of a lighter uh, weight class, it ran a little bit faster, but the high voltages, which are in the lightest weight class, ran the fastest. But now those also have, the plastic tires and the plastic base, versus these Real Riders that have the rubber tires and the metal base. So is it the weight, or is it the rubber tires that are causing the speed differential? So that'll be interesting to see how this plays out as we get more cars in and have more cars that are. I hope to find cars that are going to fall into the same weight class, but with the different materials for the tires and the base, to see how they actually perform against each other. Because again, I want to compare apples to apples. So to me, weight is probably most important. The materials second, and then I'll even go with center of gravity result would be probably the third.
Although I'm not really doing, as I'm thinking about this, I'm not really doing anything with really high bank tracks, at least not yet. And that's where that could come. If you look at like Meal Ticket Raceway, although his cars really go very fast on uh, that long raceway he has, it's really, you got to check him out. Meal Ticket Raceway has this amazing long form track where he runs, I believe it's 5 at a time, and man, those cars get up to speed. But John Racer 3, he'll do his runs when he does his unboxings, and some of his like lap 2 will come up. It'll be like a pretty severe kind of a turn, and some of these cars that are top heavy or slower just can't get around there. As far as the Peak Time Racing, his channel, he pretty much does like the short form drag strip racing. So I don't know that the center of gravity, the weight matters as much, but he'll race them together, and they'll typically do one runs of each. So again, this is where I'm different. I'm trying to fill the void of, let's look at the car measurements, the which include the weight, tipping angle, that kind of thing, the track geometry, running multiple runs. We're keeping track of where they fall in weight class, and then also in the type of racing that we're going to be doing. So I'm so far enjoying this process. We're still building this. I'm hoping you'll join me here down the road or now to help me build this platform. Again, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not asking for any kind of Patreon payment or anything like that. This is strictly in the interest right now of running these cars and kind of figuring out what's going to run, how they'll run differently depending on their different metrics. And then also, because again, Hot Wheels, the 164 scale cars, diecast cars are fun, and it gives me a good it gives me a good reason to say, hey, look, I picked up some more cars, but I'm doing something good with them, which I really am, but it's still fun to joke about it. But I am finding this to be pretty interesting now that I've started doing this process, and I hope that you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, the like button. I know that's something that we're supposed to ask as we do these videos, but I really do. I mean, I hope you'll join me on this and that you'll be regulars and become active participants, because I'm very interested in feedback. I'm interested in, as we go down the road, what other types of cars people might want to see. Pretty soon the payoff will be, once we get through enough cars and we get enough vehicles measured and logged, then I can start moving to these other challenges, these other testings that I want to do, which include the miles per hour on the 164 scale quarter mile drag strip that I keep talking about building, which I'm building. I'm in the middle of building it, and then we'll do a distance track down the road. And I'm also want to do testing where it comes with turns. We'll do like these S turns. We'll do the 180-degree turns where cars will have to kind of battle within themselves. We'll add a little more friction to the equation, if you will. Because that's what's going to happen as they go through these turns, and we'll see how the cars carry their energy, carry their speed through these different tracks that I'll eventually put together. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed the video here. I hope you'll stick with me and continue on this journey. The plan is to post these videos. I'm going to try to keep up with, 2 or 3 a week, more if I have time to do that. Maybe I'll get to the point where I'm doing it every day if I feel like there's enough of a pull. But in the meantime, as I'm building this, I want to do this the right way. I want to make sure the measurements are correct. I want to make sure that my process is solid. I'm going to show parts of it as I go through so that you'll be able to see what I'm doing. And if you have any questions and you want to reach out, feel free to post a comment in the YouTube video. I'm also on Instagram there with Peak Speed Lab 164. If you want to check that out as well, those are going to be like short form clips of what's going on here in the YouTube channel, but you can always DM me there as well. So again, this is Strick with Peak Speed Lab 164, where gravity and mass meet friction. And for now, the ramp's deciding the results. Okay, so hope to see you next time. This is number 4. Boom. Cheers.